So this is how we use the ALC. Make sure your computer is on. The computer's right down here. Power's on. See it on the screen. You can log in. I'm not going to log in right now, but the system's all run through the control surface here. Ignore these icons and buttons off to the side. Everything happens on the touch screen. So I touch it once, it activates or wakes up. I touch it again, and now I'm presented with a menu. Typically, what I like to do is start with instructor mode. Both classroom and instructor mode will power up the system, but typically we start in instructor mode. So instructor presentation mode means anything that's on the computer here, the main computer, will be on all screens. And there's always a bit of a lag, a 10 to 15-second lag for the screens to power up. So don't start switching around, mashing on the control surface, or just confuse the system.
Don't rip it off the thing and huck it across the room.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And I can see what is showing on the instructor machine is now showing on the.
That's right. And it explains right here, Lectern PC is now being displayed on all displays.
Excellent.
While you're here, there's the master volume control. So right now the audio in the room is quite quiet, but this is how you would adjust the volume. And there's 3 areas to adjust the volume. Let me just log in here real quick.
Now.
So talking about volume, there's 3 areas you can look for volume. Right now I have some jazz music playing. The first is back on the master volume here. I can adjust the master volume here. And this also goes if you have laptops going. And then on the operating system, I can check the operating system volume. That's maxed out. And if you're in a YouTube player, you can check the volume here. So those are the 3 areas you want to check for volume.
And you're hearing it all around the room. It's coming out of the speakers. Every section has a Bose.
Bose speakers. All audio comes out of the Bose.
What about this
speakers.
Mute button here?
Yep.
If I hit
everything.
that, then if it's red, that means it's in the mute state. If it's black, it's in the non-mute state.
That's right.
Okay, now I have a YouTube on this computer that now I want to present only to myself, only to my one.
To the pod, yeah.
To the pod.
So when students are working at their tables with a laptop and they just want to have their laptop showing on their display, that's called classroom mode. So in classroom mode, the displays switch, and you will see the laptop image for the table on the table's display.
So this one is showing to my table, but it's not showing to anybody else's table. And so now when I play it, I can hear the volume coming out of the Bose.
And the master volume impacts the stations as well on the lectern.
And then if I want to present my one to the rest of the camp, to the rest of the pods.
Yeah, so we were just on table 3 there. So if you want to share table 3's display with everybody, you come to student presentation mode and you select table 3, and then table 3 will appear on all
now all the pods and all the Bose are showing it. Okay. And then if I pause it, good.
All right. So we've gone through the classroom mode, which is the individual laptop at the table, the instructor presentation mode, which is the main PC on all screens, student presentation mode, where you select a particular table to be everywhere on all screens. And then lastly, we have advanced routing. Advanced routing is drag and drop. So right now we have a laptop on pod 3. I can send that image over to pod 1. Now the pod 1 people cannot manipulate it. It's all run by pod 3. But I can
So pod 1 now is seeing what is on this computer. Right. Not pod 3, pod 1.
But because it's advanced routing, I can put pod 3 back on pod 3. I can put pod 3 on pod 2. If we had pod 2 running, I can drag and drop anywhere I want, whatever image I want from any source. And just to remove them, I just drag them off the screen and they disappear.
Great.
Other than that, there's audio controls. So there's student mics. The little white ball in the middle of the table is a microphone. These are really subtle microphones. They're not going to be blaring out, but this is where you would mute those microphones if they become annoying in some way. Sometimes when the room's very quiet, students are rustling at their desks. That sound would come to other speakers at other tables. So this is how you'd mute the student mics if you ever have trouble with them. By default, they are active. and you just go back to get back to your main screen. If you want to go back to the student mics, it's the audio control here. And then there you go. Now, the other important thing is when you're finished with the room, hit power and power off the system. Very important. And then everything shuts down.
Great.
And that's the ALC.